Halloween ends. All right, let's do this review. Got a lot to say. But you know what? Before we do, there's been something missing on this channel for a while. Just something missing. Oh, that's what it is. Okay. All right. I see you guys. All right. Here we go, guys. Yes. All right. Now let's go ahead and do this review. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel once again, and today I'm going to review and talk about Halloween Ends. I got a lot to talk about with this movie, so just a little disclaimer, guys. If you haven't seen Halloween Ends just yet, there's going to be some spoilers in this, okay? There's going to be some spoilers because in order to talk about this movie the way I want to talk about this movie, I'm going to have some spoilers. So unfortunately, if you guys have not seen this movie and you want to avoid spoilers, then try not to watch this review. This is going to be more of a discussion rather than an actual full-on review. And so let's get to my actual thoughts in this movie. So I actually applaud this movie for trying to do something new. I really do. I applaud this movie for trying to do something different than it has done before, because there's only so many times you can redo that same slasher formula. Like here's Michael Myers. He either is alive or he escapes something and he goes and he kills some fools and they kill him at the end, and then you find out either at the end of the movie or the beginning of the next movie that, oh, that wasn't really Michael Myers. That was just some random guy, or he did not die, it wasn't fatal, he escaped the firehouse or something. There's always some kind of little trope in there where that wasn't Michael, or he survived somehow, and he goes and you repeat this same cycle for years now. So I applaud Halloween Ends for trying to do something new, but at the same time, it feels like the concepts that they were trying to come up with, right, these new concepts that they thought of, they really didn't go through and really kind of nail out the details and flesh out the overall ideas. Like, there's some really good ideas in this movie. They introduced this new character, right? And at first you're like, man, this character's kind of tragic. I kind of feel for this character, but then something happens with this character, and he goes down this darker path, and the movie's mostly focused on him. He's basically the main character other than Jamie Lee Curtis, and the movie really focuses on him, and I'm down with that, but it's really not, it's not fleshed out enough, right? Not enough explanation. And I'm not one of those people that need an explanation for everything, right? I like when movies end on like a whim, and you're entitled to have your own opinion on what was the movie trying to tell you. But in the same breath of this movie, they didn't give you any explanation on anything, and we're supposed to just believe this. This movie takes place 4 years after Halloween Kills. Halloween and Halloween Kills takes place in the same night. Originally, this movie was supposed to be in the same night as well, but due to certain things, people want to blame COVID or whatever, they decided to do a 4-year time jump, and the movie takes place 4 years later. So we are expected to believe that since the events of Halloween Kills, where evil dies tonight, guys, that Michael Myers has just kind of been laying low inside of a sewer for the past 4 years. What is he doing down there? Is he training Ninja Turtles? Like, what's going on? Like, why is Michael Myers just chilling in the sewer for 4 years, and nobody in this small little town has had any idea that Michael Myers kind of just went to this sewer and he became like a sewer monk for 4 years, until this guy just happened to show up at his sewer drain, and then he kind of does this Vulcan mind trick thing. Like, that was the weird part, right? He does this Vulcan mind trick thing on this character Corey, and next thing you know, he is the Robin to Michael Myers Batman, and it becomes a Michael Myers Batman and Robin, kill fest, to where Michael Myers is just kind of standing there going, that's my boy. Meanwhile, Corey is killing all these people, and I'm just like, what is going on here? Like I'm confused, because we went from Halloween Kills. Halloween Kills, I did not think it was a very good movie either, but at least the movie made sense in the plot of what it made sense. It was really corny, just like all the townspeople with these giant speeches. My boy Cody Leach came out, and he kind of said like, yeah, man, everybody's got like this weird dialogue and nothing sounds believable, and that's the way I felt in Halloween Kills. Like, nothing sounds believable in that movie. I was like, evil dies tonight, but at least the movie had a coherent storyline. whether they pulled it off or not. This movie, I feel like they tried to execute three different plots, right? The movie starts off with this character, Corey, here, and he's babysitting this little kid while the parents go to a Halloween party, and some accident happens and the kid accidentally dies. And then Laurie goes into like this whole monologue to where ever since Michael left, there's sort of been like this curse upon the town, and you see people like committing suicide and hanging themselves. And I'm like, oh, cool, they're gonna do something different here, right? Michael's escaped or maybe died of his wounds, and he's been missing this entire time. But for some reason, like there's a curse, the curse of Michael Myers. It's over this town, right? And people are getting these visions and stuff, and they're killing themselves. I'm like, that would have been a cool concept. And maybe that this character starts getting these visions, and then he becomes like the living embodiment of what Michael Myers was, and he goes on a killing spree. But they dropped all those plots. The whole curse thing, or whole everybody committing suicide and everything from the effects of Halloween and Halloween Kills, that was dropped within the first 15 minutes. Then we follow this character, Corey, like I said, and this guy, he kind of gets picked on and all this stuff, and he's a tragic character, and you feel for him, and then he gets tossed over a bridge, and now he's in the sewer, and Michael Myers just kind of picks him up and does like this Vulcan mind thing on him. Like, it's literally the Vulcan mind thing. Like, he literally goes like this, and then he gets like all the visions of everything from the past couple movies and so on and so forth, and then he just becomes a psychopathic lunatic and becomes Michael Myers. Meanwhile, he's doing all the creepy things Michael Myers is doing, and Michael Myers is just kind of standing in the background like, that's my boy, that's my boy. And that's perfectly fine to go about having a premise like that, but you need to be able to give a good reason on why this is, right? It's one thing if the character just tragically goes bad, right? But then they really don't do anything with that. And what I mean by that is, you know, it would have made more sense is if Michael's actually passed away at the end of Halloween Kills, and then they made this story, and you would see the effects of maybe the trauma that Michael Myers had on this town would drive people kind of crazy, right? And they would commit suicide. Maybe they would become a serial killer like Michael Myers, something like that. But they didn't do that. At the end of Halloween Kills, and where this movie picks up, is completely different things. Whereas Michael Myers is clearly like, hey, I killed all these town people. I'm good, man. You guys try to kill me. You guys can't do nothing. But they didn't leave it off like that. If they would have left it off to where he looked like he was dead, and then the curse of him lingered on, that would be different. But for this movie, it just feels like they completely just swapped out everything. And it almost felt like they had like 2 to 3 different scripts, and they just kind of put it together. And then we're not even talking about the main event where Laurie versus Michael is at the end of the movie, where we finally get closure to that. And that lasted all but like maybe 10 minutes. That lasted like 10 minutes of the movie, the tail end of the movie. It felt like it was a tacked on scene where it was like, well, we got to finish this up. Oh, let's put this in here. And that's sort of how it went. I applaud when movies try to do something different, especially when it comes to the Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street, and Friday the 13th franchises, because you can only have the same formula where, you know, the scary villain guy's going around killing people. You think he's dead, and then the next movie he's alive again. You can only do that so many times. So I applaud them doing something new with it. And I actually applaud the idea of kind of taking, I don't know if anybody else got this feeling watching the movie, but I felt like I was watching Christine a little bit, Stephen King's Christine, to where it was about this kid that got picked on. He was kind of nerdy. He got this awesome ass car. The car was possessed. It was an evil car. And then slowly throughout the movie, the car just kind of like changed who he was. And that kind of feels like what they were trying to do with this movie, with this Corey character, where this character was a good character. He got picked on and everything. And then he met up with Michael Myers, and he slowly changed who he was and became a killer. But none of that was really all that clear, because it wasn't clear. It wasn't clear. It looked like I was watching a Halloween Batman and Robin film. It was like, all right, Robin, go out there and kill your people. So I could literally talk about this movie for probably an hour, because there's a lot to talk about and digest with this movie. At the end of the day, I feel like I feel like they just did not have a good premise for this final movie. Unfortunately, I feel like David Gordon Green, I think he wanted to change it from what it normally was, and the change wasn't good. To me, they changed something without explaining something. And if you change something, you got to explain something, because when you change something, when you show in a trailer what people are expecting and you go to see a movie, you can't just change that and not explain why that is. I'm perfectly fine with that change if they would have kept it that change, but you need to explain to me why they did it. I read a comic book from Image Comics years ago. It was called Nailbiter, and it was a very good comic book. And the premise of Nailbiter was about this small town, and for some reason, this town just spawns serial killers. Like all of the biggest serial killers in the world, all were born in this town. I felt like if they would have done something that with the Corey character, where Michael Myers died from his wounds, and then for some reason another Michael Myers type picks up the mantle, the curse of Michael Myers lives over this town. I felt like that would have been a very interesting premise, but you have too much explaining to do. Like, why is Michael Myers alive, right? Is he just chilling in the sewer for 4 years and nobody knows, right? Michael Myers has just been chilling in this sewer for 4 years. How does he eat? How does he, like what does he do, right? Like, he's got to do something. You're telling me this whole town's been looking for this guy and he just been in the sewer for 4 years. Like, that seems a little unbelievable. And talking about unbelievable in a slasher film, you know, that's not good, right? It's like the whole premise is unbelievable. So when you do something that's completely unbelievable, then it really just kind of shocks you. So there's a lot of things going on. Michael Myers been in hiding for 4 years. This kid, you know, he does the Vulcan mind thing, and boom, he becomes a serial killer instantly. You know, the 500 different dates that Laurie's granddaughter and this Corey kid goes on. You know, just a lot of different things. And I really applaud the movie for trying to do something different. I really, really do. And I really was hoping they would have stuck the landing. Unfortunately for me, it did not stick the landing, and they just didn't go about telling the story correctly. I think they had a good idea there. I think it could have probably used some more time going over it to really flesh out the overall details to make it one coherent story. But that's just my thoughts on it, guys. I want to know what you guys think. Be sure to leave those comments in the comment box below. Smash that like and subscribe button. And until next time, guys, as always, I'm Robert Storms, and that's my opinion. Later, guys.